Well, Johan. Good afternoon, everybody at the other side of the camera on YouTube. Very happy to have you here. About 12 people listening in. Very welcome. Um, we felt it was maybe necessary to do a quick reintroduction of Transparent Logon. Transparent Logon, the tool that makes it very easy to log into JD Atlas without having to, give your JD Atlas credentials, has been on the market 7, 8 years now.
8.
8 years. We have been keeping it up to date from a technical perspective, but obviously there's a point in time where you need to maybe do a bit more drastic cleanup, and that point has come now. That's why we also call the product now TL X10. I guess Johan is driving an Audi X10 or something. That must be. I have no idea why it's called X10, but you will see differences that we introduced with compared to the current release. Because the expectation is that you guys are all users of Transparent Logon. Thank you for being a user, and I hope this release enables you to stay a user for a long time going forward. So Johan, go ahead.
Oh yeah, thank you very much. I'm so excited about the whole new Transparent Logon X10. We did so much work, and we actually worked with some of the customers. Maybe you're online, and we actually did testing. And really excited about the new product. Can't wait to get started actually. So let's get started. Um, so Transparent Logon X10, and I think this is an update event. Tomorrow is the full overview event. So I think you all know how Transparent Logon works. I mean, you start up your computer, you sign into Windows, and with that, those credentials, you log into JD Edwards. With the cross-reference, depending on your Windows user, connecting to your JD Edwards user.
It's almost too simple, huh, if you think of it.
It's a very simple product. It's always been a simple product. Although we need to make sure that it works and we keep up with all new up-to-date functionality, and that's actually why we did this whole new version. So the effect is you publish your URLs on your intranet and click the URL and log into JD Edwards, or maybe you have deep links from your email or workflow and connect straight into your application. So the key features were always, and everything that was there is still there. Although we completely redesigned it from scratch, basically. So you can still do multiple instances, multiple web servers.
There is a customer out there that at some point had more than 39 instances.
Yeah, quite a few. It's incredible. And also with this new version, it's not necessary anymore to have so many instances. We consolidated quite a lot of the features together. Still multiple JDE users, and for audit, login history and admin history is still there. It's still being recorded. And obviously non-Windows clients are supported, but now also the mobile is supported.
That's a big thing.
Yeah, that's a real big thing. And yes, we did have customers that were actually asking, our mobile users need a JDE user and separate of their existing JDE user because they cannot get into the mobile applications anymore, which is now fully supported. SSL was quite a setup. I mean, you had to edit an XML file.
It was possible, right?
It was very well possible. But we now made it completely seamless within the application. Same as story as deep links. You needed to create manually a small script, and we helped customers to work so the deep links would work. But so fully integrated now. We have a beautiful new instance manager. Previously, you needed to copy a directory, which is of course for administrators quite okay, but I mean it's fully managed now, so you can see what's running and what you have. And there's a complete new user interface. So maybe to go back and quickly show you what the previous Transparent Logon looked like. So you would do an example of the administration user interface, which is a very effective user interface, although it looks a bit outdated.
It looks a bit 80s, huh?
Yeah, yeah. Well, was done after
Goes,
the 80s, but
it goes very well with your shirt.
thank you. Brilliant. Um, so next, I'm really excited to show you the new version of Transparent Logon. Transparent Logon X10. Let me get into the screen. So when you download it off the Steltix website, you still get an executable, do next, 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 and basically the application is running. Previously, it was one Tomcat service that was running. Now it's actually a database service, so that it can be accessed from multiple ways, and there's the Transparent Logon service. And one of the services is the admin panel, and basically...
By the way, I should say that people can ask questions in the chat box. I forgot to say that.
Of course. If you have questions, put them in the very good one. So this looks completely different.
It does, yeah.
And when you sign on, you straight away get into the instance manager. And let me, for example, click settings. The admin settings, which were previously, everybody who had access to the admin panel is still there. The database connections are still identically, let's not change it now.
No, that's not, then it wouldn't work anymore.
Um,
So people will recognize all of the settings as they were in the previous releases, because on that end nothing changed really.
No, JDE policy, and there is one here. I'll first go to demo the features, and then enable SSL, because I got a SSL certificate on my PC to show you how simple it is. As you see here, out of the box, it comes without SSL, so you have to enable SSL yourself, because it doesn't come with the out of the box
you need to
SSL
have a
certificate.
certificate, yeah. Admin history, logon history is still the same. Cross-reference essentially still the same. The big changes is probably here, right? Instances.
And normally you had a different URL per instance as well, which is now within the admin interface. So there's a Transparent Logon development, a Transparent Logon PY. For example, I needed my production environment, then create a Transparent Logon production. And as you see here, I'm creating it on port 7040. Previously, Transparent Logon only worked on the same server, and then a /tldv, /tldpy.
You needed to have separate directories, right?
Separate directories, yes. And now actually it runs on a port. So this one is running, as you see. It's green.
So it's a consistent path, but then the port is different.
Exactly, exactly.
Good.
Let's click instance settings, and you should recognize cross-reference, enterprise server settings, everything is identical. Your web server settings is the same.
For the specific environment that's being served by this instance, yeah?
Of course. And if you have Data Access Studio, it's still there. An additional setting is your AIS server. So it's also now aware of your AIS server. And what this instance now does is handle everything for that specific environment. So you go to your Transparent Logon server on port 7020, and if you do /JDE, you will go into JDEvits. Kind of makes sense. If you do /JDE REST, which is the endpoint for the AIS server, you can do actually calls to your AIS server.
So the service is defined by the path, and then the port defines the instance. Yeah.
Exactly.
JDEvits instance.
So I think the best way is to just show it. Let's open up a URL. Maybe the easiest is to show. Here I'm going to my Transparent Logon server /JDE.
On port 7020.
On port 7020.
So that's DV, right? Yeah.
Let's click it, and it's doing exactly the same as you would expect from the previous Transparent Logon. Wow.
Well, it's waiting for your server, Johan. E1 server.
Is the server actually running?
Well, if it's waiting for it, it may not be there. But this is a server that's managed by Johan, so I guess Johan should know this.
Alright. It may be that the JD system needed to wake up a bit.
Because you were the only user.
Yeah. Hasn't been used for a bit. So it works exactly the same as the previous Transparent Logon. Actually, a lot of the source code that was handling those requests has been copied into the new version. So really nothing changed there from a technical perspective. Another thing that of course is different if you would go into /JDE and use deep link
Making sure
with
that
all your form information. Let's go back here. So transparent logon /shortcuts launcher, and then the object ID.
can you show the part that says
So it's
so same thing /JDE, but then shortcut launchers.
/shortcut launcher. What JDAP
So you copy and paste whatever
JDAP
JDAP generates. Yeah.
Yeah. And this brings you, for example, in the sales order entry screen. So nothing actually has changed. It's just, I guess, that its JD system is a bit has to get going. It's already faster than the previous request. So this brings you straight into the JDApplet's sales order entry screen, which was previous functionality as well. If you would do, for example, a self-service password reset, all those screens have changed. The same if you use multiple users on the same thing, those screens all look different. Everything is updated. Everything has like a new.
Transparent logon still functions as a password self-service reset tool and a single sign-on. Yeah.
Exactly. The feature is still there. And the same for Data Access Studio, I guess. Huh?
Yeah.
Which is a very powerful reporting toolkit. So if you ever need powerful reporting on JDApplet's, Data Access Studio is your way to go, I guess.
Yeah, we allow you to also transparently log into DAS, and actually we are considering, and we are open for suggestions for other products. We have Hubble on our roadmap.
Yeah.
And I encourage you to come up with more ideas. If we can easily integrate that, we will never not do it.
Maybe, yeah, this is the point, I guess, to say where we enable SSL certificates. So I have a SSL certificate on my desktop. It's a PFX or a B12 file. You have to create the certificate key store yourself, put in the password of the key store, upload it, and it will automatically, if I mistype my password, it won't work. So now I say upload. This will upload the SSL certificate, and in the screen here you should see a pop-up. It's uploaded, it's created, and shall I restart transparent logon?
But for some settings, obviously you need to restart the server. Huh?
Yeah. For this, actually, it's now going from HTTP to SSL. So this could take a minute as well. It's going to restart everything. And after that, also for all your instances, you have the ability to enable SSL on your instance as well. So it's now going through a restart. Let's close out of everything. Close. And I have the same here on the same port, 8080 on HTTPS. I hope it's back. All right. So it does say not secure. I may use the invalid host name because I don't think I put steltix.com behind it. So you see there's an issue to tlx10 test.steltix.com. That's the majority, I guess, already. I mean, it's like everything's there. Oh, wait. I didn't show you the new cross-reference. But it's basically the same.
Well, that's the problem
as well,
with transparent logon. There's not much to talk about because it's really simple.
Extend test / user 5, 3, and Steltix 2, for example. And here it creates your. It's really identical.
I remember in the old release there was always an issue with the URLs being case sensitive or not. Is that still the case or not?
Well, URLs are always case sensitive, but it's just /admin now.
So now at least there's no capital in there.
There's no cases in the URLs anymore.
That was an issue that we saw a lot, huh?
Yeah, actually, that was actually the major issue that we got submitted after people downloaded Transparent Logon.
That's why it's admin now.
And the rest is really, everything is the same. It's just, that's not everything. I wanted to show one more thing. This is, of course, a mobile app. A
Yeah.
mobile app connects to your AIS server. So let's start our own mobile platform.
Right. AppShare, if you're not familiar with it, I encourage you to go to steltix.com/appshare. It's a collection of mobile apps, if you want, that connect to your own JD Edwards system. And as you can see here, instead of logging onto an AIS server or JD Edwards server, you can just type also your transparent logon server name and port. And that specific instance was also serving AIS, as we set in the settings. So now you need to be aware, in that user and password field, you enter your Windows credentials, and then TLX10 will reroute to AIS. So try to connect.
And you have to use your Windows credentials because your mobile app, of course, doesn't know who you are from
Doesn't
Windows
sit in the
perspective.
domain, yeah.
And
Would it change if we add different ways of authenticating?
yeah, of course. And we're working on that.
So what is the next big thing, Johan?
The next big thing is SAML2. It's already in development. I hope we have that done soon. The trial license is zeros.
So there you are. I'll go to the inventory management, for instance. This is just 220, obviously the infamous bike. Let's see how much. So this is just a collection of apps. Well, yeah, this just.
Well,
I guess the point is that we were able to access that AIS-driven app by means of going through a Windows credentials. That seems like a very small thing, but it's a big thing for our customers because obviously they had users that uses both JD Edwards and then this, or Dropzone. Dropzone is another great example of where people would need this.
Yeah. Oh, and of course the mobile apps and whatever mobile apps you design yourself. So Transparent Logon actually behaves like an AIS server. It just handles the security for you and handles the security inside JD Edwards. Oh, we got some questions as well.
What are the typical errors? Well,
what are typical errors?
In those 7 years, we've seen a lot of errors.
Yeah, one of the things. One of the things were the case sensitivity of.
Yeah.
And we.
I guess we've seen with the new release typical errors. Be aware that you need to use at least SQL 2012.
2012, yeah.
That is an error that we've seen a couple of times, and I guess the big thing is now that even if you use the database that we include, it is a real database, so the maintenance of that database is a lot easier. You can use all the database tools that has. What else would you say we've seen?
Not a lot of.
If I'm now in this webinar and I wanna replace my TL, what's the typical steps?
Yeah, that's a very good point. I would prefer to set up a new server with the new Transparent Logon, but you could also put it on your existing TL server.
Johan always needs new service.
Well, refresh it. I mean, creating a virtual machine is typically 5 minutes of work to deploy a new virtual machine. And then run the executable. It's on the website, I guess, where I'm setting up Transparent Logon TLX10, I think within 3 minutes.
Steltix.com/TL.
Yeah, fully ready to go. And it is really just creating your instance and putting all these configuration settings in place. And
so can you somehow import your configuration settings or not really?
They are 100% compatible. The real data model hasn't changed. Although the way that Transparent Logon works, you don't have a DAS instance anymore. You don't have like a /email instance.
So I guess our advice would be to just export your cross-reference, because that's obviously the most work, and then so you have that for import later on, and then redo your settings because that structure has changed a bit.
Customers sometimes have 3 or 4 instances per environment, and that's completely not necessary anymore. So it's a lot more easier with the new Transparent Logon. So I would say just set
and it's still install Java and whatever you need to run.
Yeah, it's all included. Well, that's one of the things we did as well, because Java is now Oracle wants to have money for Java.
Oracle wants to have money for everything.
Yeah. So we're now running on OpenJDK for this product to not get in trouble in the future. So that's another thing we changed under the hood. But basically, just set up a new TL. Export your cross-reference, and here in the cross-reference that was previously there as well, do a import of your cross-reference, and then it's
Okay.
already over and done. Another thing that sometimes happened with customers as well, that they did an import twice, and they had a lot which they had to delete manually.
Then you have a lot of double records.
So one of the things you can now do is do a multi-select and do a delete. So the management on the grid is also a lot more simple.
But again, I mean, you could also use the database tools.
Of course,
Also,
if you have or an external database or want to run on the H2 database.
We've seen issues where the logon history got too big. Huh?
Yeah, that's a lot of stuff is simplified.
So where is the so do they put in there the same key, license key?
Yeah, license key is still the same. Just key it in. That's why it's a license key. But
I'm just trying to think of things that
it
people
is
have.
actually on the roadmap to automatically have the license key renewed by a license server, and that transparent logon calls home like every week or something to check that the license doesn't expire. That was actually one of the biggest issues we've seen.
People forgot to renew their license key.
Exactly.
They would So
and you used to have a license key per instance, so per environment, and it's also a lot more simplified. You have only one place where you put in the license key.
And actually, a lot of these improvements that we made were a result of you guys having good ideas. So keep doing that. The price. There's a question about the price. For all the existing customers, there's nothing changing.
That's all good news.
Yes. Yeah, that is good news, I guess. So you get better software for the same price.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I guess I'm not sure if there's a lot more. Feel free to ask questions, and we're really open for improvements.
I think this is the proof that it's really not that complicated. I would encourage you to just set it up on a. How long will you be supporting the old software for? That is a very good question. I don't think we actually really thought about that.
No. I mean, we're going to support it for a bit.
What would the dependency on the Oracle Java framework is a thing in the end or not?
From a license perspective, well, the one that we're shipping, we're no licenses on, so that we'll be able.
So, but this is about the old. Forever. How long can we support the old software? That's the question here.
I guess we have to come up with some date.
Yeah,
it's not going to be anywhere tomorrow, or I think it's safe to save at least for another 6 months, a year.
Jamie, can you send johan.tekens@steltix.com an email about that? Then we will get back to that, because I guess the problem is not so much the transparent logon code, but I would be worried about the dependency on the Java runtimes.
Yeah, and the potential security that will come up in a bit, that we can't support it, but.
Yeah, there were some small security issues that we also have removed in the new version.
Fix some here and there.
But I mean, there's no technical reason why it all of a sudden would stop running.
No, there's actually customers still running almost on the first versions of Transparent Logon.
Yes.
And I mean, it's close to a zero maintenance application. Although there's continuously new improvements on the software, then that would be a good reason to keep upgrading.
But we know there's some customers that already are in production with this release, and then there's quite some that run it in QA. I encourage you to at least try set it up on and run it on your POI or QA environment for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, try to do it. I mean, it should be a minor effort.
If there's no further questions, then I would say let's call it a day. Yes.
This event session.
Please let us know if you have any ideas what you would like to see in this product going forward. Again, as Samuel and Google are definitely on our roadmap to have us authenticated.
And Office 365.
And Office 365, that's obviously on there.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Johan, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Keep up the good work.
Tomorrow, same time, is the full overview of the product. This
Yes.
was the upgrade session. Tomorrow, same time, 4 o'clock, is the full overview.
Yes. Goodbye.
Thank you.